Hey guys, today we'll have a closer look at the OZ Goose build. For that, we will talk about specs and materials, construction methods, plywood and lumber choice, build costs, utility, performance and expectations, and roof rack loading. Why the OZ Goose? Well, because it won all the previous shootouts and it emerged as the fast, fun and the furious. Obviously, fast and fun, I'm referring to the Goose, and the furious to everyone who can't believe, and I quote, that I'm building a wardrobe, a shoebox, grandma's bedside cabinet, and so on. But guys, honestly, I do understand that. We all like a beautiful boat, according to our definition of beauty. And listen, I did just that. I built my Goat Island skiff because I loved the boat, the way it looked, and the simplicity and all of that. But now, I want something different. I want something in which I can push the boundaries of what's possible to do on a small cartoppable skiff. Not so much performance-wise, although the Goose is fast, but everything else related to sailing and anything surrounding it, like cruising, camping, fishing, everything. Dancing on it, tap dancing, I don't know. Imagination is the limit. So I am building a Goose. So let's start with the specs. It's a flat bottom 12 feet skiff with 4 feet beam and approximately 1 foot 4 inches depth amidships. Weight somewhere between 120 and 140 depending on the methods of construction and materials chosen. It has a 89 square feet balanced lug sail supported by a very rigid square box hollow mast. Needs no shrouds or stays or anything like that. Built-in flotation just on the side tanks is over 1,000 pounds or 500 liters. So let's move to the materials. Guys, this is only approximate, so please don't take this as a materials list for the build. This is just for you to have an example of what dimension lumber we're talking about here. So let's start with the plywood. 6 sheets of 6 millimeters plywood if weight is not a concern for you, or in my case 4 sheets of 4 millimeter and 2 sheets of 6 millimeters for the bottom. Of course you can build it in 5 millimeters and all combinations, but if you use anything less than 6 millimeters on the bottom, you should glass it because it will be a bit too flexible. Epoxy resin. Here it all depends how you want to build it. 10 liters if you want to apply 3 coats of epoxy on all parts, or as little as 4 liters if you don't. This is an easy and cheap boat to build, so if you want to have a go at boat building, you can make it even cheaper. Just don't expect it to last for decades. You can apply just 1 coat of resin to all the parts, and then a primer or 2-pot paint. You can use exterior plywood instead of marine ply, etc. But just be aware that it will not last as many years. Moving on. Depending on construction method, you will need either 30 feet of 2-inch glass tape and 1.5 pound of high strength filler, or 110 feet of tape and 6 pounds of filler. A couple of meters of glass cloth also needed for the foils. Most wood for the framing is 3/4 by 3/4, something like this. This is what I use on my Goat Island skiff. And you will need about 170 linear feet of these. And I think you will also need about 15 feet of 3/4 by 1 3/4, I think something like this. Again, this is some leftovers from my Goat Island skiff. Yeah, 15 feet of these. Of course, this is for the hull only. The center case, mast step, rudder, mast spars, etc. that will take some extra lumber. But this is just to give you an idea what you will be working with or what you need to start building the hull. If opting for the filleting method, the lumber needed will almost be cut in half. So let's have a look at the construction method. You can use wood strips, stringers, cleats, whatever you want to call it, stuff like this that I've just shown you, to join or glue the panels. So basically you'll have a piece of plywood, glue that in there, and then the next piece of plywood goes on top. And that's kind of the basic or the standard way to build the goose. And don't worry, all is very well explained on the assembly instructions that you get when you buy the plans. The next construction method is what Michael refers to as filleting method. This is a mix of stitch and glue with the previous methods. Basically, you have to join all the parts of the boat except the decks with either zip ties or copper wire or some duct tape until you can fillet the inside and keep the panels in place, and then you put some glass tape on the outside on the shines. Only then, when all this is done, you can put the decks and glue them using, again, the same stringers, only on the top side of the boat. This method makes the boat slightly lighter than the previous one, but it might be a bit trickier to get a cleaner build, but I'll give it a go. Material choice. The plywood I'll be looking for is made of okume outer and poplar core. This is what is easily found around here, so that's what I'm going to use. It's around 500 kilograms per cubic meter of weight density, so that's not too bad. It's class 3 as gluing is concerned, so it's the same as marine plywood. No problems there. For lumber, the plans specify mainly western red cedar and fir, but I will be using white spruce because it's readily available here. It's a light wood. It has the disadvantage of having a lot of knots, so I need to be careful choosing the boards. But in this kind of build, it's not that critical, to be honest, unless it's for the spars or the mast. I'm trying to find some poplar to replace the spruce, but it's not easy to get here in Portugal unless you buy in bulk. So let's see what I can get. Epoxy resin, I'll be using Sycomine 5505, I think. No, it's Sycomine 5550. This is what I use for my Goat Island skiff. It's been going strong for 4 years, no problem whatsoever. So I'll use it again. Right, that is a 3-to-1 mix, and I can buy that just a couple of minutes from my house, so it's a no-brainer. Costs. This will be very different depending on where you are building the boat, but I will show what I need as an initial investment for the hull here in Portugal. Geocoom and poplar ply costs about 45 bucks per sheet of 4 millimeters or 6. It only varies a couple of bucks each, so it doesn't really matter. So let's say 270 euros for that. The 7.5 kilo kit of Sycomine resin, because I only have like 1.5-2 kilos left there. I need another 7. That will cost about 200 euros, and spruce and poplar for the stringers might be around 100-120. I still have a bunch of spruce bits there that I can rip and use for the foils, so I will not have to buy wood for that. I also have some meters of glass tape and enough glass cloth for the foils, as well as most of the fillers like microfibers, which I can actually mix with extra fine wood powder, which I also have, so no problem there either. So my initial investment to start the build will be only this much. And by the way, many of you are asking me when will I start the build, and the answer is when I have enough money. Sorry, but this is the truth. I cannot be more sincere than this. As I said before, when I bought my my cruiser, my 6-year-old cruiser, I can fix broken stuff. I can't fix being broke. I should make a t-shirt out of this. Anyway, I could go out tomorrow and just buy the plywood, but there's no point in that. Plywood would only be here absorbing humidity in the workshop because it's winter now, and until I have the money to go and buy the epoxy and lumber, I will not buy the plywood. Plywood here in the workshop, believe it or not, yes, it's Portugal, but you want to see what happens to it. Here in the workshop, no water has ever reached them, but look at the humidity on them. They're full of black spots everywhere. Not always sunny here. And I'll take this opportunity to thank everyone who has bought me a coffee so far. We are moving in the right direction. We're about 25% to my goal of $1,000 to be able to build the Goat Islands. The Goat Island skiff. Wow. Sorry, too many years sailing the same boat. Like I was saying, we are at 25% of the way to $1,000, which is what I believe I need to build an OZ Goose. Thank you guys for your support. If you haven't bought me a coffee yet and you want to help me with the build, you can find the link in the description below. So it's obvious I can't buy a new sail now, so to start with I will probably use my goat sail and spars on the OZ Goose. Okay, utility. How do I expect to use the Goose? Well, this boat will be used whenever I want to go sail different waterways. It will go on the roof rack and mostly will be sailed with 2 people aboard. Also, I would really like to take her upriver on a week-long trip and explore all the canals around the Tagus River. I will be sleeping aboard, so need to make a tarp tent which I can deploy quickly. My father will also sail the boat, and once we can get 2 sets of spars and sails, we'll go together in some adventures, I hope. I might even sail here in the estuary instead of the Goat if I want more people to come aboard and have a lot of fun, to be honest. So that ties up with the performance and expectations. I know this won't be like sailing my Goat, but that is exactly why I want it. Yes, it will be slightly slower than the Goat in strong winds, and it will be a lot slower and probably noisier too in calm conditions, as I can't even heel the Goose because of its amazing primary stability, so I can't reduce the wetted surface this way. But it's not that serious, to be honest. I expect that I will be able to move around about in the boat when fishing or camping or whatever without any problems. Not like the Goat, which I have to be very careful if I go anywhere near the masts. I don't think that in stronger winds the bow will pound the waves at all, like most people seem to believe, since not only the boat heels and lifts the bow when planing, but the waves won't be coming at any less than 40 degrees to the boat anyway. But again, these are expectations. Car topping. Now this was the main reason for the build, so I need to find an easy and practical way of loading and unloading the Goose from my roof rack. Even if I can keep the builds under 50 kilos, which that would be amazing, it's still too heavy to just grab it and toss it on the roof rack. I have not decided yet what I will build to achieve this, but it will be some kind of contraption for sure, and here are a few examples. Okay guys, I hope you found this video interesting. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Over the coming week, I will be chasing some poplar wood suppliers and I will visit a plywood dealer store nearby to see prices and availability. Also, I need to get my workshop ready for the builds. I mean, my workshop is an absolute mess at the moment. I can't build any boat here, to be honest. I still have this Opti to fix and laser dagger boards to repair so that little Maria can actually get back in the water. So yeah, a bit to do before I start the build, but nothing that can't be done in a couple of weeks. So guys, that's all for now. Stay safe. I'll see you next week.